about 3 minutes, the bank rate decision will happen for CAD. Now, I gave reasons why to buy Euro earlier this morning. I already have a position on, but I'm trying to see if it can punch up into that 107.55 level. I'm actually going to take 2 of them off here in the event that it sends it the other way. So I got 2. Long at 107.32. 2 lots off at 107.47, so 17 pips. And the balance on the 1 lot still has to stop at 107.10. Less than 2 minutes on the Bank of Canada. Okay, the fireworks are about to happen on US CAD. So far, it doesn't know where it wants to go. So a large liquidity pool resting below this group of lows in here. Let's watch the Canadian dollar pan out a couple more minutes. Give it about 15-20 minutes of study, and then I'll go over how I did the 33.10 daily high and then the projected low on 32.35 the day before. I usually don't care about the fundamental data, but what did they do about the rates? They leave it unchanged? Yeah, figures. Thank you. They're not doing anything this this time of year with interest rates. Canadian dollars, well, dollar CAD should drop down into this area here. We've already taken these lows here, so there's really no reason to come down flirting with that. If it's going to come down, it's going to come down and clear out these sell stops and make another run for the low at 32.35. Here it looks like it wants to hit that 107.55 level. I only got one left on for that long, so I'm going to try to see if I can get a little bit more out of it besides the 107.55. I'll bring the stop up to 107.40 if it gets above 107.60. Then I'll leave it at 107.40 the remainder of the day. See if I can get any of those other higher objectives. $107.30 was my entry. Stops at 107.20. I'm going to take a half off that remaining standard at 107.55 just for general principle. I mentioned that you should be taking 107.55, so I kind of want to practice what I told you. And I'll leave the remaining balance on so I can get to 107.55, that is. Euro pound should be zooming. 85.80. So we probably got 40 more pips more on the upside. Clear these equal highs out. On euro pound. Yeah, here comes the run on the 132.50 stops. Dollar CAD. I think euro pound, I just mentioned 85.80. Clears these equal highs. The higher the high is 85.78, so we'll probably see 85, 80, 86 big figure. And then, yeah, it's all kinds of layered buy stops off of here. But the liquidity void up in this 87 to 87.40 area, if it's going to continue rolling higher, that's what we're looking at. If you're short here, when would you put your stop where? Here? Are you entered short at the open? Was your fill at the open? You should have your stop at the open now. Don't risk anything. If you gotta wait, if you can take something off now because you're below a low. The next expansion is going to be down to the 32.50 sell stops, but you should be paying yourself something now and go to the opening price. On rate announcements, there could be all kinds of whipsaw, and it's unchanged too, so that adds to it. If you're short 33.10, take something off. Like I said, we're down here at a low. You got good range on profit, so take something off and leave a little bit on just in case we run these 32.50 stops. Well, they already cleared these equal highs, so the buy stops have already been taken. So if it gets back up here, it's going to go above 33.10. That's what I'm saying. You don't want to, if you're short, you don't want to be short above the opening price anymore. The range is already being defined as a potential down close. So if it comes back up towards that opening, it's going to flip and go the other way and run the buy stops above 33.10. Opening price right here, midnight, New York time. This candle needs to drive down, make a lower low, and start running because you don't want to see it open here because it could potentially be turning and making a short-term low. Dollar's at that 100.33 level. At this point, it may just roll down here and close in this area here. Take the stops at 120 to 115. That should fuel your dollar up to the 107.60, and we'll see if it has legs to get to the 107.75 to 107.80. I took half off that single lot. Long euro dollar from 107.30 at 107.55. So I got one half of, or 5 minis still on long from 107.30. Looking for a move to 107.60 to bring the stop up to 107.40. The institutional level is 107.80. I like to look at the 5 level right below it because it might just go there and not go right to the 80 level. Remember, I'm always trying to get out a little bit early. The dollar index being held in consolidation, and that was the number one reason why I stayed flat. Let's see what dollar CAD's doing. All right, made a lower low. Again, though, it's pulling back away from that. That's not good. So you want to be mindful of. What's that, about 12 minutes or so. We'll have crude oil inventories. $4 CAD mark, the running of the buy stops yesterday on the news, being a catalyst for lower prices. That's my thought process, but obviously we're going to see what we're going to see. But that was my thinking going into today. On a day like today, 1 minute charts are going to be chaotic. You don't want to be looking at a 1 minute chart on a day like today. No, I entered right at the beginning of the New York session. The reason why price didn't go above the midnight candle on pound dollar is because of euro pound being bullish. The reason why I wanted to go long was the fact that we saw an unwillingness on euro dollar to make a lower low when the dollar had made higher highs in relative terms, and at the same time cable was making lower lows. So the week, while I wanted to be a buyer of cable, I referred to euro pound and changed my mind about that, and put more airs to run on 107.60 on euro. See if we can get that run to 107.75. Stop is at 107.40. There we go. Run, baby. Euro pound 85.46. Okay, I'm going to take 2 minis off here on that euro long. See if I can get a print area. Come on, get up here at 107.65 just for general principle. Come on. Oh, just missed it. I got 107.64. That's good enough for government work. So now I have a balance of 3 minis on, looking for 107.75 to 107.80. I'll take one more off up at that point. Here's CAD trying to stretch for those 32.50 sell stops. Come on, get down there, dollar CAD. The market's a cruel lover. If you don't give her attention, she'll smack you in the face. The euro pound's holding cable down. Now be mindful that 3250 sell stop area we were looking for, that may be just what it's reaching for, and then it could change directions and run on the inventory numbers in about 6 to 5 minutes. Two high impact news events plus its interest rates on CAD, so we're just studying it. I would not be looking to trade it, no. You got a breaker at 3265 that you can re-short on after the inventories if it gives it to you. You have a lower level breaker here, but you also have one in here. So if it does spike up on the inventory news, this level or this level could be a catalyst, which is another reason why I'm just certainly not wanting to do anything. But it's only about 12 pips variance between the two. You just don't want to see anything back above the opening price here. If you're missing moves because your limit orders are not tripping, lower your leverage, allow more risk on your stop in terms of pips, but not the amount of your account, and just be a little bit more relaxed on your entry. So if you're demanding real tight entries, just be a little bit more flexible and try to get in there about 5 pips sooner than you are. One standard lot traded with a $5,000 account depends on if you have a small stop. And your stop would have to be really, really, really tight to do it. Well, what's $300 times? I'm sorry. What's $300 divided by 5,000? That'll give you your risk. Is that something you're willing to assume? Saeed, we'll have you and I online, and it'll be on there within the hour. I only edited out the part where you were cussing out Tom Dante. It's going to be on Twitter now. Watch. He didn't really say that. Just kidding. Hi, Tom. No, I'm not saying Tom Dante's in the mentorship. I mean, I wouldn't know. There's a lot of people in incognito, but he certainly hasn't said that he was. Should be good for one more push down through that, at least to clean out the 3250. Let's go to the 30-minute chart in case we get some movement. I keep waiting for my mouse to move by itself again. It's in my head now. I can't get it out of my thoughts. Again, if we lose 32.35 in here, we're going to be looking to close in the range down to 31.85 and then to a low of 31.40. It's potential weekly objective. If we get back above the opening price, we're going to be making a run to 33.71 by the end of the week. So it's all hinging on what we see here. We're down below the sell stops, which we were aiming for. We were talking about that yesterday. That's where all the liquidity was resting in terms of a liquidity pool. And we've now since cleaned that out. Now, we have not seen any acceleration through that yet. That's what you want to see. You want to see it drive through that. If it goes below an old low to clear sell stops and it just hangs around there and doesn't, convincingly move through it, they're probably just snatching up sell stops and they're going to pull back to the middle of the range. With unchanged interest rates, that still could be an outcome, which again is another reason why I didn't want to be in dollar CAD. Yeah, I'll talk about the 33.10 level, and I'm going to also talk about the 32.35 level the day before. I just want to pay more attention to what's going on live. It's already difficult enough for me to focus. I'm going to take one more off on that euro right here. I got two minis still on long euro dollar. Stops at 107.40. It's below the last down candle. So if we do see a little bit of retracement, which I'd rather not do, Raj, the trade I'm taking, I'm using off of my iPad. I'll send the screenshots with all the business in it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the pound dollar, to be honest with you. If I don't got a good read on it, if I don't feel confident of it, I'm not trading it. I came into the day looking for a long, and it didn't give me anything for it. So I sided with the euro dollar. So I found my trade for today. So I don't want to push my luck on something like today. That's what I was talking about. You don't want to see that run below the sell stops and then come back up into the range. It needs to stay, and now at this point, it needs to stay below $32.67. You don't want to see $32.70. So if you have anything on still short, take something off while we're below this low again, just in case we run right back up and close in this range and then flip it for the daily range and go for the 33.10 level. How would I know if this breaker is good? If it responds off of it sharply, hits it, doesn't waste any time, or doesn't go up into it deep. It hits it and runs away, goes lower. This is the only threshold that I would allow in terms of retracement after taking that low out here, because it's logical for it to come back up here and then expand lower, but to go deeper into this void, this big down candle, it's just going to eat up more of the range and then easily just make a run for this high and make a run for 33.15 to 33.20. And then if it did that, I don't even consider it that bullish. If it does that, it may just come up there, hit the 33.10, 33.15, and then settle unchanged, basically in the middle of the range. Yeah, it's the daily bullish candle we were looking at. It's been working in that level. The open is 32.88, real close to today's opening. That's why you don't want to see it come back up to that point. We've already hit that level enough times. If it's going to go lower, it's going to go. It doesn't need to come back up there again. Here's the dollar cleaning up that area under here, equal lows. Did that rather handsomely. Next order block is here. Open comes in at 100.12. If it hits that, it'll most likely probably come all the way down into the 100. Big figure, maybe try to work underneath it. Make a run below these lows. What would that be? What is that low? 99.96. Should be the last surge on euro dollar. I'm watching this high back here in this short-term high. Yeah, I'm going to close the longs, the last two on euro dollar here. It can do whatever it wants after that. So my fills were 107.30 on the long, peeled off two standards at 107.47. 5 minis at 107.55, 2 minis at 107.64, one off at 107.69, and the remaining balance, 2 minis off at 107.65. Now that I'm out, it'll probably go to 108.50. All right, so now that my focus has been freed up, all right, so the high on this candle, once we retraced, where did it go into? Zoom in. The high on this candle right here, where did it go into? Half of the down candle that led to the up move that took out the high here. So we have a higher high than this high. Find the low in between, the last down candle before the up move starts. That's your breaker. In other words, all the buy orders that were used to send price higher, once price trades below it, they're going to look to mitigate that. So that's like a resistance level, okay, in form of price action. The other down candle in here on a 30-minute chart is this candle as well. We went into that range right there. Let's look at a 15-minute time frame. Fell just a little bit short of it on the 15, but 30-minute did get it. So if it's good, it should just start to erode and go back down below that 132.50. If it creates a higher high than this candle's already made, and that is in the form of 32.72, the trade, if you're short, is not good. So you're going to add the spread plus 2 pips or so above that high. So your stop should be at 32 I'll just say 32.80 if you're short, and just leave it there and let the daily range unfold. So that's that. We don't want to see price trade back up to there. It's 32.80. So we don't want to see that. Usually about a 4 pip spread, dollar CAD, which in my opinion is a little high. I don't know why they have a 4 pip spread on dollar CAD, but what's your spread on your dollar CAD on your broker? Just for a poll for the room. Yeah, 4, 2, 1.2, 0.8. Wow, that's good. All right, so if we add 4 pips to 32.72, which is the high of this up candle that it retraced into, add 4 pips to that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Add 2 more pips to it. 1, 2. 32.78 should be your stop. So 32.74, if that trades there, you would be covering your position, being stopped out at 32.78 with your 4 pip spread. In layman's terms, you just don't want to see the chart print to that 32.74 now, period. All right. Dollar, euro, cable, CAD. All right, let's talk about some of the things we're going to be teaching more about in January. Not December, but January. All right, so on the 5th of December, Kane, if you found your setup, that's good. Actually, you'll hear me and Saeed talk about that. Saeed was talking about how it's important to be following stochastics divergence and RSI divergence and MACD and Bollinger Bands, and he's found his niche with all that stuff. So combining that with order blocks, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. He said he's found his setup as well. So once you have that, you want to keep refining that, but your general understanding will always increase and amplify that one setup. That's going to be your bread and butter setup that you go through your career with. And rarely will you ever see a trader that defines their model deviate from that. They may add another peripheral to it, in other words, another pattern or another approach to it, but they'll always go back to that first one that made the most sense to them. So, and it may not be as clear as what I've shown so far, but you have probably noticed some things in the charts. And let me hurry up and say this because I don't want to deviate from what I want to do because I'm very tired, but I'll say this. If you have found your setup, congratulations. That's awesome because many people don't know what that is for them. And if you're on the verge where you think you know your setup and you're starting to get more details and evidences behind that idea, then that's amazing. That's exactly what you should be doing. Okay, but once you define it and you know that's your setup, don't abandon it. Really start paying attention to how you can refine it, but don't get ridiculous with it. Don't try to expect 5 pip stops. But be aware that is the first thing that jumped in your mind as far as understanding, and lean on that one. That will be your career setup. Very rarely will anyone ever deviate from that first one because it's like your first love. Once you see it and you fall in love with it and you know it intimately, I'll be honest with you, and this is no disrespect to my current wife, there isn't a day that goes by I don't think about my first wife. And she was my first love. So just like my first setup that I understood in the price action, you can't forget it. You just know it. You see it. You know when it's coming. You know what you're looking for. So, and it's just like it's like a child. You know, you could be in a group setting in a mall, you know, or a shopping center, and kids all over the place, or a playground, and all these kids chatter in the background. You will hear your kid's voice over every other one. And once you identify that, once you know what you're looking for, you're dialed in. All right, so let's take a look at December 5th. Okay, and I want to talk about something real quick because I really want to document this because to be quite honest, I'm unnerved. I'm unnerved by it because obviously someone has compromised my computer. Okay, and on December 5th, we are looking for the euro to go up into that 107.10 level. Okay, and I was at the beginning of the week, I was looking for the euro to go into 107.10, and I was hoping for a gap opening and higher, and then trade lower and then move up in that 107.10. And I couldn't see beyond that initially, but we gapped lower. I explained that we did, or I did rather, a short cover down near the low, and the move higher, I took a long closing in this gap right in here. Now, I say that to say that I had already came into the week looking for reasons to expect higher prices for the euro. And I preach adamantly that folks should not be trading exotics. And exotics are like, Euro, Aussie. Okay, I don't trade that pair. I don't talk about that pair. I have no interest in that pair. But on December 5th, there is a trade, and this is the balance on the account now. So I'm letting you know everything that's happened here. It's at $2,081.65 as a result of this trade that I did not execute at all. And it was a long trade with 6 contracts of Euro Aussie. And $12,686.86 came out of the balance. Okay? So I want you to, let me pull up a chart, and I want you to take a look at this. Where is it at? There you go. So if I put a 30-minute chart up and drag this over top, look at that. Seriously, does that not look odd to you? I realized it this morning. In fact, I'm going to play a portion in the recording that I was doing live this morning. I tried to do a long in cable, but just with one long contract. That was it. And it rejected the order, and I thought I had tried to do a limit order. And if you go back and watch the video I did, I think last week or the week before, I was trying to do a limit order, and I was keying it in wrong, and it kicked the order back, said invalid stop loss. Well, when I read it, I thought that's exactly what I was seeing again. So watch what happens. The Euro Aussie. This trade is a short. Okay, and it's selling below a low, and it gets out at the very, very high. I mean, you're near the lowest of the low, and you're getting out at the almost highest point. Come on. So now I'm going to take you over. Let me take you over to what I show. I got to make sure I can show it to you before I. Okay, you should be seeing my Camtasia Studio. This is where I do all the editing and work for all the videos. Okay, now I have the video scrubbed over to, and this is, I'm going to keep all this in the recording. I want to document it because this is this is really, I'm going to be honest with you, because if this was a live account, I would be out that money or potentially even more. So look at this right here. Just make sure you can hear it. Tell me if you hear this portion of the audio before I go to the part I want to show you. The dollar index that will Can you hear that okay? All right, well, it's not something you're going to get the refined version of it because it's going to be a recording, but just for 2 places in video, I want to have it documented because I didn't execute that trade, and I don't ever trade Euro Aussie, but watch this. Let me zoom in here. Now I'm checking. Did I have 10 lots on there? Am I on the right pair? I had, I just figured, well, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'll come back to it in a second. I'm watching the price, and I literally thought I was seeing the rejection of a limit order. I've done it before in live setting. I've done it when I was on YouTube as well, and I literally it didn't register to me. It did not register whatsoever. So when I saw, I think it was Fred. Okay, I think it was Fred on Twitter. He says that that's the reason why you couldn't execute the trade. I'm like, what is he even talking about? What are you talking about? So I went and I looked in the demo account, and there it was. It was only showing $2,000 in the account. So I'm like, where the hell did that come from? And it's the $12,000 loss on the Euro Aussie trade that I didn't even execute on. Let me go back to this. That trade right there. I mean, that's like the worst possible thing that could ever happen in terms of entry and exit. So I don't know, like I said, I don't know what would have caused this outside of the fact that the folks this morning actually, I thought I collapsed the recording. I was anxious to get in touch with my brother-in-law and ask him a couple things about what may have happened, because last night at the end of the session with Saeed, well, actually during the session with Saeed, there is a portion where I have, and only he and I knows this, so when I was talking to him in the session, you won't see it in the recording, I just have his little icon from Twitter, but I had my Twitter feed up, and only momentarily I went over and I checked my email, which you won't see that either, but majority, 99% of the time while we were talking and exchanging ideas and interviewing one another, or I was interviewing him, the screen only showed a direct message dialogue that he and I had weeks ago about what types of questions I was going to ask him. So that way he was familiar with what I wasn't going to derail him or sidetrack him and hit him with something he wasn't prepared for. And towards the end, the Twitter screen got collapsed, and I didn't touch the screen. I didn't do anything with it. And at first, I thought I leaned in on the mouse, and I was telling this to the folks after the session this morning, and that's not in the recording, but they all know there's like 185 of you in there. So towards the end, once I closed the actual session with Saeed, and I was preparing to do the compression for his video, my mouse, just like it's sitting in the center of the screen here, it does this. And goes down and goes into my, well, you can't see because I got to allow you to see it, but it opens up my file explorer and starts going up to the files. And literally watched it happen. I wasn't touching anything. It was happening on its own. So what I did was I touched the little airplane mode button on my keyboard, and the mouse immediately stopped working. It didn't move anymore. So someone obviously has access to my computer remotely, and they were literally going into my files. So a little unnerving, yeah, but more importantly, it happened live, when Saeed and I were talking. And I don't have that portion in the recording, but I have it in the recording, but it won't be in the refined version. But, while I'm talking about this, I want to I actually want to do that just so you guys can see it, because you can actually see the very moment where the screen it ain't me, it's not me collapsing it. And hang on one sec. Saeed. All right, so that's that. I think I just overwrote it. Shit. Well, I'll bring it up and you'll see it, because I can do all Control Z and throw it all back on here. But the point is, someone accessed the computer remotely, and I wasn't even aware that Euro Aussie trade had been placed. And it leaves me in something of an embarrassment, admittedly, because I don't know how to keep it from happening again. I mean, obviously, I'm very braggadocious. And I think I have inspired someone to pull something on me. So the point is, I don't know how I can keep them from doing it again. I said this after the session this morning as well. I had been watching YouTube videos, and it wasn't like trading videos. It was just like the world events type things I like to follow. And Sunday evening is when I was doing it, and I was dozing off. And at one moment, I thought I saw the mouse moving Sunday night, and it was around between, I don't know, maybe 8:15 to 8:40, and that's about the same time this occurred last night. So I'm thinking that someone's figuring out or trying to attempt to get in at time of day, thinking I'm away from my computer, when in fact I usually am. I'm usually on my phone with Twitter, or I'm just not on any device at all. I'm with my wife or my kids. So whoever it is that's doing it, they're trying to do it around 8 o'clock in the evening to 9 o'clock in the evening. So, and while I don't think, and a couple of guys have made some facetious jokes about it this morning, I'll be honest with you, I'm not thinking it's funny, to be honest with you. I'm concerned because, if they're able to do that, clearly, it's a problem, and I don't know how to stop it personally. So, yes, I still have the special pointer software. Why would you ask that, Laverne? I already did malware bites, and it didn't show anything. It came back clean. I don't know how it happened, but literally, this is exactly what it looked like. I'm watching the screen, and I'm waiting for the file to upload into Camtasia, so that way I can drop it down into the menu like you just saw. And I literally watched the mouse do this. just like that. It moved around like someone was trying to make it show up like this, like, when you're looking for your mouse and you would wiggle it around. That's exactly what it did. It did something like this. And then it went right down to open up my file explorer. I mean, it was right in front of me. I mean, I literally was like, what the hell is that? And as soon as it clicked on that and was going up through the files, I hit the airplane mode, and it stopped the mouse immediately. Immediately it stopped. So clearly someone could get in, and they've done it. I mean, I've had my Twitter account hacked 3 times, and while I'm not so concerned about Twitter because it's not that big of a deal, but here, I mean, if they delete my files for the videos, I have no archive whatsoever outside of what's already on the internet, and I don't want that. And I don't have anything sensitive in this computer except for a couple folders of really not sensitive at all pictures. I mean, there's no pictures of my kids. There's no pictures of my wife. It's just pictures of cars and different properties, but nothing that would be, sensitive to me. But I don't want someone obviously getting in my stuff because they can do all kinds of things that, upset, what I'm trying to do here. So I have a solid state drive, and I'm going to be taking all the files off this computer and putting it on that, and that way I'll have a backup of everything, because I certainly don't want to lose everything I've been. That's a lot of time. But anyway, that's that. We're going to document me collapsing this. Now here's what I'm going to do. So that way it's in video, you understand why I'm doing it. If you know anything about me, I never, ever, ever trade Euro Aussie. It never happens. It never happens. There's no reason for me to trade that pair. I teach against it, not to do it. And here it is. This is like, it's almost like it has to be a bug in MT4. Like, it can't be this can't be an executed trade. I mean, to me, it just looks too perfect. Yeah, Matt, perfect. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It looks too perfect. So it has to be a bug or a glitch or something. I don't know. But it's a demo account, so I'm not going to get anything from them if I pitch a fit about it. But I would obviously be going apeshit crazy if this was a live account. So what I'm doing is I'm going to open another account right in front of you, but I am not syncing this one to a MyFX book. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the account history every time we do a trade. You'll see it, and I am not allowed to do anything outside of a live recording. Anything that happens outside of the tradings that we do here live, it can't be accepted. Whether it's a win or a loss, I can't do that. I don't know if MyFX book is where I'm going to go. I know there's another program or a feature out there that allows folks to document. I know. Okay, for real quick, what's the alternative to MyFX book? FX Blue. I've never heard of it. Okay, does FX Blue do the same thing? It updates and shows the whole business. All right. Well, I'm going to do this. On my FX book, I didn't make my account number private. And you can see in all my videos, this same number has always been there. It's always been there. Now, here's the thing. I want you, it's $12,600.86, and the account balance is $2,081. Okay, so it was over 200% return at the highest, and in that one trade, it undid all that and took it down to 2,000. So, while that's not crazy, it's not impressive, it's not anything, but the point is, I'm at a point because I watched this happen to my computer last night, and I'm a little unnerved, and I'm tired on top of it, so I'm probably overreacting more than I probably should, but I'm concerned. I don't want someone getting in here and You know, for instance, if they deleted all my graphics, or if they deleted all my PowerPoint before I had a chance to back them up, because admittedly I didn't do it. I don't have them backed up, and it would create more work for me than I want to have. So what I'm doing is I'm thinking about what could have potentially happened, and it's alarming. So this is the demo account. I had a lady in our group ask which one I'm using to get the dollar index to show the price levels that I show on mine. It's the Forex LTD. And I always come up with some. Just create some email address that doesn't exist. The lowest it allows me to open up is 3,000. So we're going to do that, okay? That wasn't really smart now, is it? If the guy's in here, you can see everything I got now. Well, let's do this. I'm going to pause the screen. Yeah, that's like, okay, now we're going to do it all over again. Now you got everything. Hold on one second. Hold on. All right, so now there is a new number up here. All of my charts that I do in my video work, I'm going to keep that portion from showing up. Okay, but you all will be having y'all have accountability to you all by showing you the trade details down here, and nothing can be done outside of a live session. So if I'm not recording and there's not witness to anything that I'm doing, and if I see another trade pop up, I'm calling bullshit. And there's something wrong. There's something really, really wrong. So, and I want to do this as fast as I can, get it going. And by doing that, I mean I'm going to be taking a trade every single day, even if I have to scalp something. So that way there will be trades there. It'll be active, and anything comes out of the left field, then I'll know that someone's screwing with me. If you have a demo account on your MyFX book, you know, you can, you know, nobody's concerned about you all. I mean, obviously, I think some kid has taken it as a personal challenge because I'm so arrogant on YouTube. Not YouTube, well, YouTube too, but Twitter. And I think, you know, some of these kids are pretty talented. They can get in there and do all kinds of stuff. And I think that's probably what I've done. I've inspired someone to do something. And, yeah, who knows? But it's Tom Dante. All right, so I wanted to explain this and show you that this, I mean, I'll be honest with you, if I could trade like this and just reverse it, that's perfect. I mean, that's perfect. There's no possible way that, there's no way that happened. Either A, someone got in there, was screwing around, and I don't think really personally that's exactly what happened. I think that MT4 glitched somehow, and I don't know how it would have done that, but it certainly is pretty astonishing to see it just like that. But the telltale sign is I don't ever, ever, ever trade Euro Aussie. Now, if this would have been on cable, well, I'd have a hard sell on this. I mean, I'd be calling bullshit if I was a customer of me. I'd be like, well, come on, man. Come on, you trade cable all the time. I don't trade Euro Aussie. I don't do it. So, to me, it's just screwed up looking. It sold at 141.57. It sold at 141.57, and it closed at 144.40. The high was at 144.37. So it's actually at the very, very high. So I don't know. But anyway, that's that. Just get on to the part that means something more to you significantly. What was I looking at? CAD. If that would have been long, I would have been all over that. It's just Saeed saying, yeah, I would have put that on YouTube. Now look at this. This is the market maker technique number 37. All right. For December 5th, okay, you can see the trades I had in here. I was scaling off here, here, and here. Now, if I'm short dollar CAD, okay, if I'm short dollar CAD, is that the same as being short Euro Aussie? No. It would be the opposite. Again, I have trades here, and we were in this. We were managing all this, okay? So the point is that Euro Aussie is, I don't know where it came from, but it's there, and I can't do anything with it, so we're scrubbing it. But I want witnesses that way. If something's going on in my accounts or if it's something going on my computer, I want to be able to say, look, it's documented. This is what happened. There's evidence to it. And that way, if I have to, even though I have a new demo account, I have the demo account number, all the details about that order as well. So all the business can be looked into. The Saeed interview was private, so that way we could talk freely, and it would allow me to edit out anything. And that's how it was. I only took out like 2 or 3 minutes of disruption of dialogue, but outside of that, everything else you got. And he'll confirm that when he hears it himself. I didn't do any kind of doctoring to it. All right, so on the 5th of December, we're looking for 32.35 was my objective for the day. And I'm going to take this off. Okay. And we have the week starting here. That's what this red line is here. That's the Sunday's trading. And I'm delineating the end of Sunday with that, like I do with the 20 hour, like over here. Here. I'm not sure why that's sitting over there. It should be here. Right there. So when people see me having this on my chart, they think naturally this is an indicator that MT4 is going to plot and it's going to print this out, and it's going to be like average true range indicator that I use, and it's not. The only thing I'm doing is actually noting where I believe it may unfold. Okay, so the The video will be online, the interview with Saeed and I. There's no pictures or anything. It's just us talking, so you can listen to it while you're driving your car. But anyway, let's focus on this, because matter of fact, I'm just going to put you guys over here because it's just going to distract me if I keep seeing you asking questions that aren't germane to what I'm talking about. So dollar CAD, we're looking for continued weakness on the 5th of December, and you can watch the video on that day and where it talks about the 32.35 level as the downside objective. I was calling the day's low as 32.35, but IPTA comes in up here. And the reason why I was looking for 32.35 was I was expecting it to snap through. And in fact, I was watching this live thinking, okay, I'm going to be able to push this chart and it'll show it like I always do, where it slams into that level, screen capture as it happens, put it up there, it's another trophy. Well, it didn't get there. It stopped short by 1 pip. The low, 32.36, and again, 32.35 was the level I was looking for and called in advance. So what led me to believe that this level here, 32.40, with a run down to 32.35, why was I even looking for these levels? What was so important about it? If you look at this candle right here, let's take the delineation thing off here. So this candle's low and this candle's high defines the range starting on Monday, okay? We have a low and a high right there. So I'm defining that range. We're looking for a lower close. So the question is going to be, where in price is it most likely going to go to in terms of its low end? Where, if you're bearish, where, if you're bearish, will the close be, or where will the low of the day form? So there's ideas I use, and you're going to learn a lot more about exactly how to use it, which ones to use, and all that business. But whenever there's a consolidation, any consolidation, this is how I've seen it. This is when I was taught that there's a time of the day where the banks at the interbank level will consolidate and allow the initial high and the initial low of the day to be set. It's classically seen in the consolidation right before midnight candle in New York, okay, which is this candle right here. If you look back at over all of your charts, I don't care what pair you look at, I don't care what asset class, if you have access to seeing the price data, every consolidation that takes place right before that candle, okay, if you take that measurement of its low and its high, in other words, measure the range, and you can do a lot of interesting studies where if you just start projecting them, duplicating them, and the only thing I did there was highlight it by double-clicking on it, hold down the Control tab, and then drag, after I click on it one more time, drag it down, and it'll duplicate what you're looking for, or what you're highlighting, like right that. Right there, okay? So I have a projected range with just these wicks alone. Okay, so the question is, I always ask in sessions, do we concern ourselves with the wicks, and why would we do anything other than that? And the answer is, the wicks are going to be different for everyone's platform, because your broker is going to deliver a different quote for this candle. In other words, if we look at the December 4th, 2016, 2345 candle, the low I have for this feed is 133.19. If you would be so kind as to let me know what your candle's low is on this particular candle here. Let me make sure I get you guys the opportunity to report it to me. Again, it's the candle right here. Okay, I have a low of 33.19. Everyone that I'm getting responses from? I'm getting 3317, 3316.5, 3317.6, 3319.80. So there's a disparity between everyone's low. Okay, and that's why the wicks are always going to be different for everyone. Okay, and the way I overcame that was if I just go to the bodies of the candles, which is this low on this candle, and the body of this candle, which is the highest of the range in here. So I have the low here on this candle. I'm sorry, the close on this candle rather, and then the close on this up candle. That defines the range. So now when I put those daily delineations back up, actually I did that wrong, didn't I? Yeah, let me change that. Stick open and close on that candle right there. That's this one, because watch when I toggle the lines on again. It's the beginning of the day for Monday. See that? So we're using the reference point of the open and the close that represents the body for that candle. So we're defining a range between here and this close on this up candle. Now when you do the same thing and you duplicate the boxes, I'm just going to stagger them over slightly so you can keep track of how many deviations there are. Okay, so we have a low here. At 132.42. Okay, 132.42. By having that level with the measurements, like we show here, we can now start applying ideas that would get us close to that level. Now, in real money, in live trades, I would use this level like you're going to have for the parameters when I use the Asian range deviations, when I use the flout, when I use the central bank dealers range. There's going to be instances where you use one over another, or you'll use two of them to get a combination of a level overlapping, and you'll have all those parameters to do that, because there's certain conditions in the marketplace when you're expecting a certain market profile to unfold. I have outlines to know how many deviations to look for. I know that's a repeating question a lot for the folks that are still in the free area. When they watch that YouTube video for the flout, they're like, or the central bank dealers range, they'll say, you know, how many deviations am I supposed to look for before it makes the high or low of the day? I'm not giving that stuff out for YouTube. I mean, it's not going to happen. But you'll have the cheat sheets, if you will, that leads to why I believe certain deviations are going to take place above or below the consolidations that take place right before midnight. So we have this projected low down here at 132.42. The next down round level would be 32.40. We also have this low over here. Okay, so if price is going to go lower like it's expected to based on our projections down here, and as a general rule of thumb, you want to see 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the maximum you'll see. Now, if it goes anything more than 4 deviations, you're in a very explosive trending environment, and you just got to rely on time, not price anymore. But when you're using the deviations like this, you're going to blend the two. You're going to look for deviations. This will be a 4 deviations lower. And I'm not sure how you guys learned multiplication in like the UK or other parts of the world, but we use a multiplication table in school. And if you want to find out what 7 times 9 is, you find the 9 on the top, and you find the 7 on the axis, and you bring your fingers together and you find out, you know, where they meet, and there's your answer. Well, it's kind of like that same principle. This is how I teach my kids. If you go down to where the time of price would be, which is the kill zone here, so you're going to go down that number of deviations and then over to the time of day where it should reach, you know, to fulfill that objective. This is the London closed profit objective, and we started moving lower, 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 lower. It did not hit that inside the kill zone, and this is the last portion. This is actually should be over a little bit. so it's off. I didn't change this for daylight savings time, but it should be just one more tick over. But the low actually formed going below the projected low, and it failed by 1 pip getting to 32.35. So where's 32.35 coming from? We have a low over here, okay, at 32.54. So essentially that's what, 32.55, right? Rounding it up to the nearest 5 level or 0 level. In this case, we round up because it would be 32.55. That's the low that we project what? How far do we see stop runs below a low? What grades are they? $10 to 20 pips. So what's 20 pips minus 32.55? $32.35. So I allowed for 20 pips of a sweep below this low in accordance with the projections on these deviations and the projected low at 32.42. Blending all that together, that's where I got to 32.35, and I was only off by 1 pip. On the 6th, now again, it probably seems like I'm just glossing over that, and I'm intentionally doing it because you're going to go through all kinds of stuff that leads you to more understanding about it all. And I'm not trying to teach you the first 2 lessons of January's content. So, hang on one second. Let me zoom in. Okay, so where did I get the 33.10 level? Now we're trading a little bit deeper into the week. Same principle here. We have this portion of the day. Then we have the Asian range. And then we have the entire thing, or flout. The bodies of the candles. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, that's about the maximum it's going to go. If I borrow this line here, all I'm going to do is lay it right on top of that top end of that range, of that shaded area up there. There's the high, and if this level is 33.11, I want to get out at the nearest round level before it or the nearest 5 level before it. So that's why I said 33.10. But you didn't see me doing that in the charts when you were watching me do it live. When I was saying, okay, it's probably going to go up to 32.95, run to 33 big figure, up to 33.05 to 33.10 as a high of the day. That's exactly what I said during the presentation that's in the recording on December 6th. What you didn't see me do is I eyeballed all of the range in here, and I just calculated by just looking at the range here and then saying, okay, if I duplicate that with my eye, after you do it for a while, you don't need to do it like this. But in the beginning, you're going to want to do it. So 1 deviation, 2 deviations, 3 deviations, 4 deviations, and it takes us right up into these last 2 up candles. So we have an overlap of a bearish order block, projected high on the central bank dealers range, and then extend that out in time, and I was only off by 1 pip. But the high comes in at 33.12, so I was off by 1 pip. It went 1 pip higher here. I was short by 1 pip here. And the only thing you're looking for, and again, you can do this too, this is the part that doesn't deliver, in my opinion, over my studies. It hasn't been as refined as nailing the high on a buy day or a low on a sell day. But if we project that going out in time, you can see the bodies are pretty much respecting that. We did wick through it in here, but I don't have that much affinity towards trying to pick the low versus trying to pick the absolute end of the daily range. and also by seeing that time of day where we're in the profit-taking hour as it hits the 3310 level. So we have a perfect blend of price, projection, and time element. So we have time and price blending together with bias, with institutional order flow. They should be reaching for the stops above these equal highs like we talked about in the video and up into this bearish order block. And that's why it did what it did there. But there's going to be times like we're going to be seeing a lot of towards the end of this month and the first couple weeks of January, where volatility just doesn't perform well, and they have very little continuity with price action. It's not as clean. It's not as well defined as it would be in other times of the year because there's a big drop off in volume. As a side note, we never saw that 32.74 level, and we saw price respect the breaker like we were expecting to see happen, and price did come down, clear out the 32.35 level, and that's what we see here. So let me take a quick look at Euro. I think I did myself a favor doing the exit where I did. Yep. There you go. Not bad. Thank you, Michael. The dollar bouncing off the bearish candle here, which is a bullish order block. So we may see consolidation now. Cable. Again, I'm not really excited about doing anything with this one. But yeah, dollar CAD. If we only had the crude oil inventory today and we didn't have the rate announcement, I would have been more inclined to take a trade. But admittedly, even after what took place last night, I probably still would have been on the sidelines because admittedly I'm rattled. I don't like the fact that someone can get in my personal computer. I don't like that. So I have no shame in telling you I'm a little disoriented by it all. But does that satisfy why I did the 133.10 on December 6th and why the 32.35 level was called for the 5th of December for US CAD? You understand why I was calling those levels? Now, I'm not asking if you understand how to do it and replicate it going forward, but do you understand why I did it and the elements behind it? Okay. So that way we understand that when I say that you're going to learn how to do the projections on the daily high and low, you can know in advance with a great deal of certainty within real close proximity. Usually I'm within 2 or 3 pips. That's usually the average. I'm off. Either it fails because I'm really holding for like the other day on the 5th, I was waiting for 32.35. I just fancy danced to try to nail the very, very low when I knew, judging by what I was just showing you, that it was higher than that. So it would have been 42 would have been the ideal cover. Maybe 40 at the best, but it dropped down to 32, 36, and didn't give me the 35 level. But nonetheless, I mean, if you're going to demand that much precision, I tout precision, but if you demand every single pip and to be perfect, you're going to be upset. You're going to be just, totally well, you're not going to feel satisfied. So to avoid all that, I just try to get out 15 to 20 pips early before my objective, and I'm okay with that. I mean, there's times where it keeps running in my favor if I would have held on to it, but there's also lots of times it doesn't get to my objective, like that 32.35 level. I mean, you can clearly see, where was it at? I was covering early. All these closes, I'm getting out early. I closed at 32.45. As it hit that 42 level, which was the projected low, that's where I was covering at. I want to get out right before it gets to where I ultimately think it's going to go. Central bank dealers range. The range in color corresponds to what time? Like I said, let me teach all that to you in January. I don't want to get into all that now because it would just turn into a huge teaching, and I'm already tired as it is. And we've already covered a lot of stuff. The orange kill zone is the last hour, 19 to 20. And on daylight savings time, it's 18 to 19. But it should be shifted over where it shows you 18 to 20. That's what it should be showing you. But I didn't update it on this indicator. Like I said, I don't use the indicators for this because I see the time. But you all like to have these things on there because it makes you look smart in your indicators. That desire to have indicators on your chart, it appeases that. It makes you feel like you're informed. But once you know what you're looking for, you don't need it. But that's it for today, children. I'm going to collapse it here. As soon as I close this, before I even start formatting this video, I'm going to upload the interview so that we have something to listen to. It's about 2 hours almost, about an hour and 50 minutes, the interview with Saeed. I'm just going to apologize ahead of time. He really has an aggressive stance against everyone that follows me. He's going to be no, just kidding. I think you'll find it inspiring. I appreciate his confidence. I appreciate his willingness to admit that it wasn't easy at first, and that's what some of you need to hear. Okay, you need to hear all that stuff. So, real quick, while I'm in this recording, I know sometimes I may forget to do things. We have a minimum bid rate for Euro at 7:45 a.m. and then we have CAD building permits and another medium impact for CAD at 8:30. So Euro press conference and unemployment claims for dollar. I think that's going to be a day where we just sit on our hands and just observe. So I think we'll meet at, what would that be? We'll meet at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in New York, and then on Friday we'll meet at 4 a.m. for trade balance for cable. So there you have 2 new sessions in advance. I know you probably can't see the economic calendar, but if you go to Forex Factory, you'll see it. So we're going to do 8 o'clock tomorrow morning in New York for Thursday. And Friday we'll do a London session at 4 a.m. We'll meet for 4:30 in the morning, medium impact news for trade balance for cable. Okay, so that's that. One more quick look before I close it. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, one more bit of business for that one. Yep, that's it. All right, folks, I'm going to close it. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your patience with getting Saeed's interview up here. I wanted to make sure I had to cut out a lot of his things and make sure he says he loves me a lot in that video because it's probably going to be shared with everybody on the internet. So, with that, guys, I wish you good luck and good trading.